Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. I'm Laura, and I'm so excited to dive into today's topic, which is all about expanding your vocabulary. It's something that can really elevate your language skills and make your speech sound more natural, no matter what level you're at. Today, we're going to talk about some practical, fun, and effective ways to grow your vocabulary fast.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tom, and I'm equally excited to be here with you all. Expanding your vocabulary is one of those things that really pays off in every area of your life. Whether you're trying to improve your English for work, school, or social situations, having a broader vocabulary can make a huge difference. So, we're going to share some great tips with you that will help you build your vocabulary quickly and effectively.
Exactly, Tom. And the first thing I want to mention is that expanding your vocabulary doesn't need to feel like a chore. In fact, it can be quite fun if you approach it in the right way. One of the best ways to get started is through context. When you hear a new word, try to understand it by how it's used in a sentence, not just by the definition.
Yes, absolutely. Context is everything. When you hear a word in a conversation or read it in a book, pay attention to the surrounding words. For example, if you hear the sentence, "She was so tired that she could barely keep her eyes open." Even if you don't know the word barely, you can guess its meaning by understanding the situation.
Exactly. And this strategy of guessing from context is incredibly powerful, and it helps you remember words better because they're linked to real-world situations. So, a good habit to develop is to keep a vocabulary notebook or a digital list. Whenever you come across a new word, jot it down with the sentence you saw it in. Later, you can go back and review it.
I love that idea. And another great way to expand your vocabulary fast is to use flashcards. You can create physical flashcards or use apps like Anki or Quizlet. The key is to make sure you're not just memorizing the word and definition, but also making associations between the word and its use in different sentences.
Yes, those apps are great. And one thing I found really effective is to review words actively. When you see a word on your flashcard, instead of just reading the definition, try to use the word in a sentence right away. The more you actively use the word, the better you'll remember it. For example, if you're learning the word elaborate, instead of just memorizing it, try to use it in a sentence like, "Can you elaborate on your idea a bit more?"
That's a fantastic point, Laura. Active usage is key. But you don't always have to just use flashcards. One of the quickest ways to expand your vocabulary is by reading as much as you can. Whether it's books, articles, news websites, or even social media, the more you read, the more words you encounter. And this goes for any genre: fiction, nonfiction, newspapers. Each type of reading introduces different kinds of vocabulary.
Totally. And it's not just about reading anything, but it's also about reading at the right level. If you're reading something too easy, you're not going to be exposed to new words. But if it's too difficult, it might become frustrating. Find material that's challenging enough to introduce new vocabulary but still enjoyable to read.
Exactly. And speaking of enjoyment, another great tip for expanding your vocabulary quickly is to listen to podcasts, watch TV shows, or movies in English. And of course, don't just watch with subtitles in your own language. Use English subtitles, if available. This gives you the opportunity to hear the words in context as well as see how they're written, which reinforces the learning process.
Great suggestion, Tom. I think listening to podcasts is such an underrated tool for learning vocabulary. Podcasts let you hear how native speakers use words in a natural setting. And what's really great is that you can pause, rewind, and even listen to the same episode multiple times if you want to reinforce your learning.
Exactly. And if you come across a word that you don't know while listening, pause and try to guess its meaning from the context. Then look it up afterward and see if your guess was correct. And remember, don't be afraid to repeat the words out loud. Speaking them will help lock them into your memory.
Absolutely. Another great method is learning vocabulary in chunks rather than focusing on single words. For example, instead of just learning the word excited, learn it in a phrase like, I'm really excited about the new movie. This helps you remember how the word is used in context and prepares you to use it naturally in your conversations.
That's such an important point, Laura. Learning phrases is often more useful than learning isolated words because it helps you understand how to use the word in different situations. For example, learning the phrase feeling under the weather will teach you not only the meaning of weather, but also how it's used in a real world context.
Exactly. It's all about using words in context and practicing with sentences. And while we're on the topic of practice, speaking is another crucial part of learning new vocabulary. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become using the new words you've learned.
Right. And the best part is, you don't have to wait for a perfect conversation. Just start practicing with yourself, speaking out loud, even if it's just narrating what you're doing. For example, you could say, I'm walking to the store and I feel so energized today. The more you use the vocabulary in your daily life, the more likely it will stick.
Such a good point, Tom. It's important to speak even when you don't have a conversation partner. You can talk to yourself or practice by repeating phrases from things you've read or heard. Another great way is to use social media, follow English speaking accounts, comment on posts, or even try to write your thoughts in English. It's all about active usage.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's the beauty of learning a language. The more you practice, the better you get. And that's where language exchange programs come in. Find someone to practice with. Apps like HelloTalk or Tandem connect you with native speakers who want to practice your language while you practice theirs. You get to chat with real people and learn vocabulary from real conversations.
I love that idea, Tom. There's nothing like a real conversation to push your learning forward. Plus, talking to a native speaker helps you understand idiomatic expressions and slang, which are an essential part of sounding natural. If you want to speak like a native, learning these colloquial expressions is key.
Yes, and that brings us to another important tip: learning synonyms. Instead of always using the same word, learn different ways to say the same thing. For instance, instead of always saying happy, you can say joyful, content, or elated. The more synonyms you know, the more variety you can add to your conversations.
Absolutely. And when you're learning these synonyms, make sure you understand the nuances of each word. For example, elated might be a bit stronger than happy. So it's important to learn when to use each one appropriately. This is where context comes in again.
Exactly. And one more thing I want to mention is the power of word families. Many English words come from the same root, and once you learn one, you can learn several others. For instance, if you learn the word create, you can also learn creation, creative, creator, creativity, and so on. Understanding these word families will help you expand your vocabulary much faster.
Great tip, Tom. Word families are a great way to learn vocabulary quickly and efficiently. And here's something that I think is key: consistency. Don't try to cram a bunch of new words into one day and expect to remember them. It's better to learn just a few words each day and review them regularly. Consistency is what helps those words stick in your memory.
Absolutely. And finally, I want to talk about the importance of motivation. When you're excited about learning new vocabulary, it becomes a lot easier and more fun. So find what motivates you, whether it's reading about your favorite topics, watching movies in English, or setting a goal to learn 10 new words every day. Stay motivated, and you'll see fast results.
Yes, and don't forget to enjoy the journey. Learning new vocabulary is a fun part of mastering a language, and as you go along, you'll find that your vocabulary expands naturally. So keep practicing, stay motivated, and have fun with it.
Absolutely. We hope these tips help you on your vocabulary journey. Remember, it's all about exposure, context, active usage, and most importantly, consistency. Keep learning, keep practicing, and you'll be amazed at how quickly your vocabulary grows.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back with more tips soon. Until then, keep expanding your vocabulary and enjoy the process. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Stay curious, keep speaking, and see you next time. And that's it for today. Learning English is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to fluency. Keep pushing forward, stay confident, and most importantly, enjoy the process. Before we go, let's test what you've learned today. Answer these questions to challenge yourself. What's one daily habit you can start to improve your English? How can shadowing help with pronunciation? What's a fun way to practice English without feeling like you're studying? Think about your answers. You can drop them in comments, and let's discuss them in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe, stay motivated, and I'll see you soon. Keep learning and keep believing in yourself.